What's that mean? Morning, folks. Welcome to Fern Farm. We're just about to go start our slot at 11 o'clock. Delighted to have you with us. Hopefully get some comments shortly so we know you're there. I'll just rotate around this round. Welcome to Fern Farm shortly so we know you're there. Where's my rotate here? Just rotate around. Drew, you're with us. Good lad. Drew in Australia. Great you're with us. So folks, yeah, this is it. Leaf Open Farm Sunday, going live at Fern Farm. We'll take you through what we're up to at Fern, go for a little bit of a tour, starting down by the pond here. A few introductions to make. Let's go and see what the girls are saying here. So on the bike today we have Tui, who's this big girl on the left. She's fairly useful for moving big mobs of stock. We've got Moa at the back, Tui's daughter, who's fairly useless, but she's a real character. Yeah, she just likes eating things she shouldn't and then licking your face. And then hiding underneath here we've got Fern, our young collie, who's really coming on. Starting to know her training, do the job quite well. So we're not brilliant at training dogs here, but these girls are certainly make without them. We have got Eliza here as well, folks. She's a house dog. Pretty useless for most things, but yeah, we lost without her. So she's the boss of them all. So I'm not sure, James, do you want to give a wee demonstration of what Tui does, what she's good at doing? So we've also got Lexi, James and Izzy with us. Archie's away at rugby training this morning. Be back shortly, but we'll just go for a bit of a tour around what we're up to and tell you a bit about the area and some of the things we've got as well. Starting with the pond here, one of our environmental features that we have at the moment. We've fairly recently dug this a couple of years ago. A great spot for wildlife, also a really good spot for chilling out. We're in the process of building a little summer house here. I think for us, getting that balance between and well, pleasure, if you like, is really important. And I wouldn't say, like a lot of farmers, I'm not sure we've got the balance right at the moment, but we're working hard to try and achieve that. It's very important you get that switch off time and that time to chill out. So given the current situation with coronavirus, we thought there's a nice wee pond here. I'll put a wee summer house by it and try and spend some quality time there just chilling out. So Easter Ross is our area, and the farm itself is 40 miles north of Inverness. It's quite a kind farm, it's a low-lying farm, and we grow a variety of crops here along with the livestock. We'll talk a bit more about that later. It's also fairly historic, Fern, for having the building that is Fern Abbey, which is 770 odd years old. Somebody will correct me and give me an exact date, but it's a tremendous old building. A lot of history about it. It was originally built about 15 miles away from here, and can you believe it, they moved it. The monks decided they wanted more fertile ground, so they moved it to its current site just now. So still regular service held there every Sunday. We'll miss it today, unfortunately, but we might hear the bells ringing shortly. Just take a wander through here, through one of the paddocks by the house here. Going to take a little wander through our Hebridean ewes. Now, we've got a lot of different breeds of sheep on the farm. We haven't got many of these girls. They are there for training the sheepdogs, but we really like them. They're for the shepherds amongst you. Yes, the lambs have been weaned, and now, so that's what they're here for. They're here for. We haven't got many of them, just 9 ewes. Oh, watch out, Eliza, watch out. And they're part of a flock of ewes, which in total number is around about 4,000. So we've got a lot of commercial ewes for producing lamb for both butcher and supermarket. Stud ewes, which is purebred sheep, which we use to produce rams for other people to produce lambs for the supermarket and the butcher. So these are a bit different. They're a bit longer to finish, whereas a lot of the mainstream commercial breeds we would use would be finished a lot quicker than these. These are a different they're a different taste as well when finished. Don't like to talk too much about that with them there, but the wether lambs from these we would eventually eat, and the ewe lambs, they'll be kept for breeding. So we'll just carry on our wander, just panning back there looking at the abbey. As you can see, it is some building. Can you imagine the craftsmanship that went into that? And in the winter time it's lit up, so you see it as a beacon round about Christmas time. And if we're lucky enough to get snow at Christmas time and this place is lit up, it's really special. And we get a watch night service there on Christmas Eve as well. Panning around a little bit more, we've got our steading in the background there. That's the hub of the operation. You can see the newer cattle building. There we go. Almost on cue. Just let you enjoy that for a minute. It's not an easy thing to do, ringing that bell. We try and do it every... I'll get a bit of action in the background here, guys. This is it. Live on Facebook. The house dog is getting a wee chase. Mum will keep her safe. Don't worry, folks. She's all right. So yeah, back to the steading. The big shed up there is the cattle shed. It's a fairly new building, and in the background behind them, the cattle shed. Again, quite a feature of our farm. They're not the most practical for use anymore, but we still do use them for livestock in the winter. We try and have everything outside if we can, but we do through the winter. We do bring cattle in for calving and some sheep in for lambing, and we've got the church hall here beside us and the White House there. One of our employees, Jim McLean, lives in there, so next to the cattle yards and sheep yards as well. So we'll just carry on, wander out of here. Who's getting taken back to the house? Better put her back inside. So yeah, as I wander through here, folks, this is the house where I grew up, where my grandfather grew up. Great grandfather was here, so we're the fourth generation to be living and farming here, which is a real privilege. It's a fantastic family home, and it's not my department. But it's great to be able to create an environment for those bees. There's an orchard on the other side of the house, which obviously the pollen they love. Looking forward to that honey next year. It's a fairly new venture. And speaking of new venture, Fiona, any comment or on holiday houses? We'll get a bit more chat when we go around here.
Well, we really couldn't have picked a worse year to start a holiday adventure. Yeah, we were ready to open up just when lockdown happened.
And in terms of the build itself, how did we manage that? How did you find that? Was it stressful? You were in charge, really.
It had its stressful moments, but on the whole we had a really good team working on it, all local guys. We were absolutely delighted with the end result.
Okay.
So yeah, as John said, it's a 2-bed and a 2-bedroom, which sleeps 4, and a 5-bedroom, which sleeps 10. And then we can open it up to one big building, one big holiday house.
Some props for the next stage of our tour, folks.
So now we're going to come in here and see our Highland girls. So we've got 4 heifers. Annabelle. Ooh, Tabitha. Oh, and there's the super tups next door.
So, folks, just a bit of a meal preparation. And those of you who know me, you'll know that I'm my prowess in the kitchen, but this is a slightly different type of meal preparation. So we're going to talk about what these guys require. So throughout the year, predominantly we're on a grass-based system here at Fern. We do supplement with forage as well. Have a look at that. And we've also got, again, this is grass, this is silage. So this is grass being put in a bag. And it's important we give these girls, we've only got 4 Highlanders. The breeds we use mostly are shorthorn and ling. But we do have some of these young ladies. It's important they get a balanced diet like we do throughout the year. So the crack is that we've got silage, which as I said is ensiled. That's what happens when we can't get hay, or we do plant and make silage as well. But hay is dry grass, so that doesn't need put in a bag. That's fine, that'll keep, no problem like that. Whereas this is a wetter grass, and that would just go wrong. It wouldn't ferment properly. So you put it in a bag, and it makes nice silage. So we start off with our forage basis. So we so a little bit of straw there too. So this has got arable on this farm as well, which means we've got spring barley and oats. So the byproduct of the spring barley and oat crops is the straw, which is again helps the rumen with these girls, helps them their guts digest everything. So we've got straw, a bit of hay. Bearing in mind we've got mechanical tractors. Tractors and forklifts to feed this out, and sometimes we graze a lot in situ as well. So what I was talking about, so we've got a bit of straw, a bit of hay, a bit of silage. We've also got oats and barley. So see the difference? Barley, well, that's what we make whiskey from. That goes off to malting, so we make whiskey. That is not suitable for feeding to cattle as it is, because it would cause acidosis in the rumen. Same with the oats we've got. No problem for feeding to sheep, but not for cattle. It's the way the stomach's designed. So that's oats. So what we do to make that suitable. There you go. You've got to be a little bit careful with this, that we don't get a horn in the wrong place. But what we do to both the oats and the barley is we bruise it, we crush it. So that then means it won't cause acidosis. So to add to the forage we've got in the mix, we put some barley. Now to complicate things further, not really a complication, just another part of what we do is we grow. A lot of the time our livestock in the winter will be behind a fence, behind a hot wire, and this one's for a beet, so that's quite
it's quite orange in colour.
It's quite high in sugar. This is a anyway, turn it back in its place. Stubble turnip grown much later, and a different composition to this. It's not going to be big. That might get the size of,
I think you can give up.
I think we will give up. We do have it. That might get around about that size. A big tennis ball, maybe a bit bigger. These aren't the commercial side of things. There are different breeds involved with that, but I think it's really important that we, as you can see, they're pretty petted. I'll just grab the camera again there just now. Hopefully Fiona may about some of the questions we're getting, but we'll carry on here just now. We'll just pan around, a bit of a look at some sheep here beside us now. We have got 4 different stock rams, all produced, all purchased this year for our stud breeding flocks. So on the left hand side there, we've got one of the new Texels. The Beltix is very much double muscled, real meat machine, carcass is what he's about. And then this Texel here, he came from down south, that fella came from, but he was bought in Lanark. And this fella here, he came from our friends McGown's Inchich. And then this wee lad, he's just a little lad, but he came, he's struggling a little bit, to be fair, bit of a challenge. Chuffed with what you've done here in the background, folks. That noise there, you can't see the flame in the fan, but that is our grain dryer making that noise. So that is, it's just taking the grain down from moisture of around about 20%, just down a little bit so it can go off to the maltings. Otherwise we would get a penalty on the moisture content. So you're looking for really 16%, but it's not often we would harvest as dry as that. It's important they take it in. If you don't get it down to a certain moisture, it doesn't keep as well. So that's what we're doing there. And that grain dryer is fueled by wood chip. So great to be able to do that. And that wood chip also fuels this house here and the farmhouse down there. Okay, right, we're going to go for a wee trip, bit of a tour. See me? Oh, okay. Right guys, we want the phone turned round. Don't know why you want to see me, but maybe it's just...
No, turn it back the other direction.
Ah, the other direction. Right, okay guys. Well, 2 seconds, bear with us. Is that better, folks? I think it depends, folks, what you're watching on, how this goes. But going to take a cruise up and go and look at some cattle and sheep in the field now. We might be over our time slightly, but we won't worry about that too much unless anybody's waiting to get in. I don't think the next one's on till. And Twitter as well, yep.
Twitter as well, yeah.
Fern Farm.
Fern Farm's pretty active. Live videoing this morning. So yeah, we like to post quite a lot of regular updates on there.
You'll see in the background as we're going along here, you can, well, we're passing it at speed, but the hedges in the background, we've put a lot of hedges in over the last few years. and carry on doing that really as our way of just our contribution to wildlife, nature, linking up the farm with wildlife corridors. It's great to see it happening. Dad years ago put a lot of woods in, and it's, which we can see another one in the background over there, and we just linked them up now with hedges, which is, yeah, been really good to see. It's making quite a difference, quite a diverse range of species on the farm, and yeah, that's good. We'll just cruising up here to probably what is the highest point of our farm. We're not that high above sea level, we're about 50 feet above sea level, and we'll just go and get a view of the area when we're up here and see some of the livestock we've got. Try to keep an eye on comments here, guys. If we're not responding to any comments just now, we'll make sure we'll do that afterwards, so please put your comments in. So, in terms of harvest, we've just finished harvest now, so that's us done. Finished there the other day, you may have seen already on Facebook, but good to get that done. It's been a bit of a challenging harvest. So if we'll just pull up here, Fiona, that's fine, thank you. Great. Right, we'll get out of here again. So, this is one of our flocks of ewes. This is our New Zealand Suffolks. So these are all, created this flock about 10 years ago with embryos, New Zealand Suffolk embryos, and they're a bit different from the conventional Suffolks. They're a bit finer boned, and these will be used to produce rams for our on-farm sale we have every August, which this year we did in the Your-Bid format, which is an online auction, online bidding system, which was completely different. Yeah. Finding the way I'm holding this phone any better or not. Just feedback and let us know. But thanks to Catherine there for getting these girls gathered up for us. But yeah, our New Zealand Suffolk flock. I was mentioning briefly there, I was mentioning cereals, and we talked about fodder beet earlier. So this field here would have been, over the fence, would have been spring barley, and that was combined by our local contractors, Alan Wilson. Now, we don't have that much kit ourselves in the way of machinery, tractors, etc. We've got a couple of tractors and a forklift, but our contractor Alan, he's got a fleet of John Deere tractors, which came in and helped us with this. And they also sowed this fodder beet for us as well, which was sown in late April this year. So we'll strip graze that. So if you can imagine that the electric fence will go up across here, and it'll gradually work that way in the winter, and we'll give some silage, as I mentioned before, along with the fodder beet. So I'll head next door now, go and see some of the cows we've got. Now, if you see that grey cow coming towards us now, we're not going to shift them, but whenever we do want to shift them, invariably she is at the front of the group. She's what we call a lead cow, and she's really handy. You give them a shout, and normally she's first there, unless she's hiding. So these are predominantly beef shorthorns, so the red and white ones and the roan coloured ones, they're beef shorthorn cows, and these have all got heifer calves at foot. Some have got steer calves at foot. They think they're getting a shift, but they're not. They had that shift this morning. This young lady in front of us here, that's actually a ling. So a ling is a hybrid between a beef shorthorn and a Highlander, which is what we just saw there just now. Developed on the island of Ling by the Cadger family many years ago. And they're a really hardy hill breed. This cow unfortunately lost her calf. She actually had twins and she slipped them a wee bit premature. So what we did was we got a ling calf and managed to set it on. So yeah, so they're a really docile breed to work with, these shorthorns. really quiet. And we've got genetics here from Australia, New Zealand, some from America, just to get a good balance. And we sell breeding bulls, we sell breeding females, and we also sell our surplus steers and heifers to local butchers, and butchers all over Scotland actually, and to Morrison's.
And we also sell beef boxes direct from the farm.
We also sell beef boxes direct from the farm as well. Yep, well remembered, Fiona. I forgot about that one, but yeah, so if anybody's keen to get beef from the farm, we can do that as well. So as we pan round, we can see we're looking down towards the farm there.
Just a perfect day.
And this is us. We're at the base of the Tarbert Peninsula. So if you look out as I'm panning round here, that's out over Riney. A fellow Farmers Weekly, in fact, an award-winning farmer. Donald hasn't done the Farmers Weekly one, but he's been Scottish Arable Farmer of the Year next door. I've been involved in the Farmers Weekly one in the past. Myself and Fiona managed to win the sheep one many years ago. But looking out there, you follow that peninsula down there, you get to the seaside village of Port Mahomack, and it's a bit of a hidden gem actually, east of Ross. A lot of people don't know about it, but it's a really special place to live. We're surrounded by small seaboard villages, and yeah,
Fabulous beaches right the way around
great beaches, great golf courses. And I think our whole approach is about integrating, balancing the strengths of this farm with our strengths, and working with the markets, creating relationships with others so that we're stronger going forward, and we can produce a high quality product that we can export ideally all over the world. But yeah, I'm sure we'll have other questions to answer. But Fiona, have you anything else? We're getting close in our time, I think. What time are we?
I think we're just about past now, so we are just about there. So thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, folks. Please fire the questions in, and it's been great to have you. We hope to welcome you back here again soon, and thankfully the animals all played their part. Thanks to the Catherine, who was gathering the sheep up, and James and Izzy and Lexi for helping at the start there, and James gathered these cows up. But I'd just take this chance to thank our whole team. We've had a busy spell this last few months, and we really appreciate the work they put in, and we appreciate having you guys out there as consumers as well. So, and the sponsors also, thank you for supporting this fantastic initiative, and we'll look forward to catching up again soon.
And hopefully in another year's time we'll be able to do an actual open farm Sunday.
Yeah, you've heard it here. That's it. That's us committed now. So we'll do it for real next year. Okay.
Thanks,
Cheers, folks.
Bye.
Bye-bye.